sampling to me is like a lost art. Like that art of sampling is like, you have to have a defined ear. You have to really understand and know what you're listening to and what you're looking for. To me, that's my opinion. I don't know what everybody else's thought process is when they're going through records and they're looking for what certain loops, or they're looking for a certain drum break or whatever. Because drum breaks to me is like commonplace. I don't look for records. I don't have records mostly for drum breaks. I got a lot of records already in my catalog that I got just drum breaks alone. Like, I don't need that. I look for records for grooves, sounds, aesthetics, like aura, like all type of shit, like pianos, strings, whatever. Like, it could be a cello, like it could be a bossa nova groove and some other shit in there, but there's a little string line and the flute arrangement in the background is so crazy. I gotta get that, but I can't isolate it so much, so I gotta sample it and chop it so I can get the isolation parts of that flute line correctly the way I want to layer it. You get me? So that's where the sampling technique comes in, whereas you have to have a precise ear to understand what you're looking for or knowing what you're trying to get after. Because, listen, you can listen to a bunch of records and hear mad shit, great grooves, a lot of fucking shit that, I could use that. But then, all right, you take the sample, you flipped it, you got the sample in your machine, now you're trying to rock it. So now you looping it, you got it together, but it just ain't hitting the way you feeling, like the way you thought it should sound. It's not hitting. What did I do wrong? Or what can I do to make it better? It's all about the chop. If you have the precise right chop in that groove, that shit just changes the whole aesthetic and sound of the fucking record that you even thought about doing. But your ear has to catch it. If your ear doesn't catch it, you won't know what the fuck you're doing. That's why I respect P. That's why I respect Primo. That's why I respect Alchemist. That's why I respect Just. I respect fucking Mo B. A whole lot of slew of cats. Scratch. There's a whole lot of dudes that I talk to. I talk to Large Professor almost every other 2 days. Me and him talk every other day. Just in general, not just in music, just in general, just about life, is making sure you're good. You all right? Shit like that. Like, that's my brother. Like, that's my dude. 12 days. Like, him, Pharaoh Monch, like, Organized, like, all that Paul C shit, like, that shit is real for me. You understand? That shit is real for me. I don't know about them other motherfuckers. Like, CJ, I talk to CJ. Like, everybody, I talk to a lot of motherfuckers. I just don't advertise. Like, I'm not one of these people that I'm on the gram, I just talked to my brother, such and such, such and such. That was a good talk we had. I'm not putting that out there because that energy don't need to be said. At the end of the day, that's between him and I. And at the end of the day, whatever we discuss, that's what we discuss, and we need to put forth that energy to make things correct in our world. That's it. That's like if you and I were talking right now after this interview and I gave you a jewel that you can utilize for yourself, you don't want to run with that. You don't want to advertise, I just got finished talking to TR. He just gave me the motherfucking jewel of jewels. I just need to share this. You don't want to share that. You need to keep that. That's like almost if you had a conversation with motherfucking Denzel Washington and he just told you some shit that's going to change your motherfucking life. You got to remember, we started on SP1200. With SP12, the actual SP12, with the original floppy disk from the Commodore 64. And then we got up to the 1200, got the 1200. And I got a 1200. And then we evolved from that and we made Funk Your Head Up album, right? after Critical. But my whole thing was, after I learned the machine of the 1200, I seen that that MPC 60. And I was real biased about the MPC 60. Sad gravitated towards it because he wanted to learn it. I was hating. I ain't, I'm fuck that. I'm anti-MP. Fuck that. Roger Lynn, fuck you. But I was on the Roger Lynn drum before. The Oberheim DBX before. But when that SP1200 came out, it just changed the game. It's like, you can sample, you can chop, you can truncate, you can do a whole bunch of shit with that and still use stock sounds and change the game. So I was open. I'm like, there's nothing beating this fucking machine. Nothing. Unbeknownst to me, that MPC just had a different engine. A whole different type of machine. So I seen Preem on it. Set was learning it. Mo B had it. A couple other people had it. You know, it's like Mo B still had his 12. He was king of the 12, just like I was. Like, I was not giving up. I'm like, fuck that. Fuck that. I'm on the 12. Fuck that. But that MPC, yo, like Finesse had the MP with the S950, right? So that shit was the standard. That's the go-to. That's the standard. If you ain't had that, you wasn't fucking around. You understand? So it's like, then you had these arguments with producers, and your setup had to be this type of certain way, and if you didn't have this, you wasn't the shit. You wasn't working. You wasn't rocking right. So I'm like, dude, like, I don't want to hear all that shit, because I'm seeing motherfuckers doing shit on this MPC that you ain't doing on that SP12. And then you can use those loops that you was doing from the 950, and you could truncate them and elongate them and do other things with them, with the trigger and your MIDI from the pad on the MP. So I'm like, oh, different technique. Okay, we're learning something new now. Graduation time. So, like I said, landscapes change, music changes, environments change. So you have to step up and learn and be able to adapt. So I had to learn how to adapt. But I didn't, honestly, Seth knew the MPC 60 and the 62 better than I did. I was still anti-12. So, but once that MPC 2000 came, I was on that. I jumped on that shit so fast. I went to Sam Ash. Me and RZA was the only two motherfuckers left to buy those two machines out. I bought the last one and RZA got the floor model. How real is that? Because Mo B was there the week before prior when he went there, which was in that fucking documentary of that TV show that he had on Hulu, the Wu-Tang Saga. That shit that everybody's seen. That was real. Mo B was in there and he bought 10 racks worth of fucking equipment. I know. I used to be in Sam Ash a lot. I used to be in that motherfucker every other 2 days. Playing with the machines, fucking around. So he used to tell me, yo, why are you fucking going over there? I said, yo, I'm trying to get this machine. But, yo, those are the days. You know, it's like, it's just, music was different, man. Digging, beat production, like, shit was different then. It was different then. I got the Rennie, I got the studio, but I got my live. My live is my baby. My live is the go-to. It does everything all those other three machines do and better. It's like the X, that big-ass X, in a compartmental, smaller version. That live is the truth. But that live 2, with the speakers on it, yo, that shit is crazy. So, in standalones, that machine that you have right now, I like it. I'm going to get it, but I'm just, Native instruments, I found a little loophole. I can use all my native instruments plugins on my Akai.